content. So right now you'll see I have a test count up here. This is what a very basic NexCite² website can look like. You'll notice everything's in Latin, but that's just because it's a test account. And I really wanted to quickly call out our help website as well. So we do have a help website. It's just NexCite help2.vacationport.net. And we're going to be going over this what's in this drop-down menu today. So this is what we're going to be going over in today's webinar. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is what exactly are we talking about when we're saying content. So going back to our test website here, what we mean is the travel content here. So your website will get loaded automatically with travel content that you can do a lot of different things with. So you'll see this is a homepage, a typical homepage here where we have featured specials over here on the right. So that's one way content can look. You'll notice on vacations and cruises pages, there's a vacation spotlight. So that's another way that content can look is the spotlight. We have one more here on cruises. So we're going to go over how to make those and how to find information about offers. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to find an offer ID. So all of the offers we have are identified by a number. So if you want to go into an offer, you'll see it has an ID number right here, and that's what you'll use to actually look up offers easily. So I'll show you what that means here. Really quick, just by clicking on more details, I was able to go into a offer detail page. So that's what an offer detail page looks like. If we go ahead and go back to home, you can see I got into it just by selecting more details. So from your end, you'll have your agent port on the agent side where you can actually look up details that way as well. As a customer, though, if they're using your website, they can always go into detailed search and actually put in an offer ID number there. So I just copied that from the one that we were looking at. And again, it'll pull us into a detailed offer page. All right, so that's kind of an idea of what offers are, how they're identified. Now let's go ahead and go into how we can start actually creating things on our end. So the next thing we're going to talk about is creating a target search. There's a couple different terms here that you'll want to know. A target search is basically as if you were using like a search box like this. You're putting in the filtering that you want for your results. And then the target search is basically those results. So you define the search, and the results that show is going to be your target search. An offer group is based off of a target search, or it's based off of offer IDs. An offer group is going to be a little bit more limited in that you are restrained to only showing a certain number of it. So even if there were 600 results for, let's say, the Caribbean, if you were doing an offer group off of the Caribbean, the most you'd be able to show is 50. So that's kind of the biggest difference. Let's go ahead and hop into the backside, into the NexCite administration, and we're going to actually start doing some of those things. All right, so here is the administrative portion of our NexCite. You'll see there's a couple links in here that you won't see just because I'm logged into administrative account. Go ahead and ignore that. So to work in travel content, we actually have a tab called travel content. So you'll see here some of the things I was mentioning. You have target searches and offer groups. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a target search. So I have a couple that I've already made before. Let's go ahead and make another one here. And I'm feeling kind of cold, so I'm going to go ahead and put one in for Hawaii so we can look at some Hawaiian offers here. Now you can make a lot of different filtering for this. So you can filter by start and end date if you wanted to. You can do it by pricing, when it departs, how long it is, or if you're doing cruises specifically, you can always put in a ship name. So those are some of the ways you can filter it. I'm going to actually skip this top portion. Usually if I'm making a target search, I'm making something that's a little bit more general that I can use on my website for a longer amount of time. Of course, you can do that for here too. A lot of people will do like vacations or cruises under $500, for example. So that's another good use of this. Or you could do a short getaway as one example where you could put in a maximum length. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this. But for our example here, I'm actually just going to do it by destination. So I can filter by travel type. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. So it'll include both cruise and land package and then anything else if it's available. You'll notice you can actually filter by supplier as well. So that's a really good way you can highlight the suppliers that you really like using. Now you can only have up to 5, so it's possible you might have to do multiple target searches if you're wanting to show more than 5 on one page. But this could be really good for like your cruises page, for example, if you wanted to feature just a cruise from one of 5 suppliers. You can always put that filtering in ahead of time. I'm going to leave it blank again for this one, though. And here's what I'm looking for is destinations. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my filtration, my filter for destinations. So you'll see a whole bunch of them here. You can actually have up to 50 destinations, so you have quite a few you can do here. If you're trying to select more than one, the one thing you want to keep in mind is after selecting the first one, in order to select more than one, you'll have to hold the Control key down on your keyboard, and that lets you select multiples. Otherwise, if you let go of it and select another one, it takes away that one selection. So keep that in mind if you're doing multiple selections here. I'm going to go through and find Hawaii here. All right, here we go. So I'm going to do USA, Hawaii, all Hawaii offers. If for any reason you were wanting to feature just a specific destination, Hawaii, you could always do that. But for this, I'm just going to do all Hawaii offers. You also have the option of doing interests. So this is useful if you're trying to do maybe like all-inclusive. Some other popular ones would be honeymoon or wedding. So there's a lot you could do here. Again, I'm just going to do Hawaii for my filter. And then you have ships if you're wanting to do something with cruise offers. I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank. So again, if you leave something blank, it just means it's going to include all of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep this as standard. That's fine with what I'm doing here. You do have some other options there, though, in case you did want those results to be sorted in a specific way. I'm just going to do standard. So let's go ahead and create that target search. All right, so it's telling me my target search has been created. If I go back to my target searches here, I can see I now have Hawaii. So target searches have to have their own page within the NexCite website. So if you wanted to do something like what we were looking at here, where you have a list of offers or an offer highlight, those actually have to be done with an offer group. So we're going to hold off on doing a link to the target search. Let's go ahead and make an offer group first, and then we'll work on incorporating those two things with the website. So let's go ahead and go back into our administration tools here. So again, I've got Hawaii over here. Let's go ahead and add an offer group. So I'm going to create an offer group that feeds off of this Hawaii search result. So I'm going to go into your offer groups. You can see I have one here for Africa, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. I'm just going to go ahead and use the same title for it. We're going to call it Hawaii again. And with offer groups, as I mentioned before, you have two options as far as how you're going to populate them. You can add prices. Now these go off of the offer ID numbers that we had before. And remember, you can see that just by visiting the detailed offer page for those. So if I wanted to do that, I could always add an offer and actually put in multiples and just create a target, an offer group off of that. Most of the time, you're probably not going to use those because once those offer IDs, those specific offers expire, you might end up with actually having expired content on your site. Now, the offer won't show if it's still expired, but it does give an ugly message saying that the offer is expired. So you want to be careful in doing specific offers just to make sure that you're updating them as you need to. But I'm going to go ahead and do an auto-populate. This allows us to feed off our target search. So here in my drop-down search, it shows me my target searches I have to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and select Hawaii. And this is what I was talking about before, where the most you could have is 50. That's 50 offers. I'm just going to go ahead and do 20. I think I'm okay with that. I'll leave it at top results. You can change it to random if you prefer. Random results, it should change every day for you. But for this, I'm just going to leave top results. And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and save the offer group settings. And I see it here now. All right, so now that I've done the legwork of making those to begin with, let's go ahead and hop back into the page admin of our website. And let me show you how to add some of these things to your website. So let's talk about the ones that actually have to have their own pages. So let's talk about target searches. To add a target search, you need to make sure it does have its own page. You can do that either by making it a sub-item to a page you already have, or if you wanted to add an item. I'm going to go ahead and make it a sub-item to vacations. I think that makes sense to add Hawaii there. So I'm going to add sub-items. Now before, when you were working on your pages, you were probably using these three options. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop down here, and we're going to actually use travel content link right here. So this is my target search. Now you also have the option of doing an offer group. If you're dedicating a whole page to it anyway though, I say might as well go all out and just use a target search. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. Select add. And again, it's going to be title here. So I'm going to call it Sunny Hawaii. You can filter at this level as well. So since I'm putting this as part of my vacation tab, I'm going to go ahead and filter it to vacation content. And then it'll give you a list of target searches. Now you'll notice here, I only had 3 target searches that I manually made, but there's a whole bunch here. So you will actually be given a bunch of global target searches. These are ones that we've pre-populated for you that you can use. You'll find a lot of suppliers that way. We'll have target searches. So that's kind of an easy shortcut. A lot of times we might already have the target search you're looking for, especially if it's supplier related. In this case though, let's go ahead and find Hawaii. And let's add. All right, so I see I have my Sunny Hawaii here. Let's go ahead and look at what that looks like on the website. So I can preview my site by using this, this icon right here for a computer monitor. We'll go to preview site. I'm going to go into vacations and check it out. You'll see just like when you're doing a search yourself, it has a loading screen that it brings you to. So these are my offer results for Hawaii for land vacations. And that's what it'll look like for your customers. So you'll see there's going to be a lot of pages if you're doing just a destination most likely. All right, so again, that was in Hawaii. So those are good to do if you are wanting to really display certain destinations, suppliers, things like that. It's a good way to really showcase them. So let's go ahead and go back again. Let me show you how to do offer groups and how those can be used on the website. There are actually a lot of ways you can use them. So let's go ahead and actually go to home. I'm going to go to what's called an offer list that's already in use. So that's what this is right here. This is an offer list that feeds off of an offer group. I can go ahead and edit that section so we can take a look at what that looks like as far as the back end here. So it actually just shows a little symbol of kind of what it looks like to represent it. So if you already have one and you're just wanting to update it so that it feeds from a different offer group, all you have to do is double click on it and it'll bring up the properties for it. So right now my offer group is feeding off, or my offer list is feeding off an offer group called Most Popular Trips. If I wanted to change that to Hawaii, all I would have to do is select it and bring Hawaii from the drop-down list. So let's go ahead and save that and take a look really quick to make sure it's showing Hawaii. I'm going to preview page here. All right, perfect. So I can see that I've got Hawaii going on here now. So let's say you have a page and you don't already have an offer group on it. What would that look like? So I'm just going to actually delete this and add one in so you can take a look at it. All you have to do to add an offer list is just put your cursor about where you want it to show. So if I wanted it underneath this, I just put my cursor down here, but I'm going to actually keep it at the top of the page. The button you'll use for this is going to be this one right here. So when you hover over it, you'll see it says Insert Offer List from Offer Groups. When we select that, it pulls up our properties. Now you can give it a title if you'd like to. That will automatically show above it. I already have a title for this section though. I already have featured specials, so I'm not going to title it again. But if you wanted to, you definitely can. I'm going to leave everything else. Let's see. Let's actually make a center here. That's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and do Hawaii again. So here you can select how many offers you want to show on that page. A lot of this is just going to have to do with what else you have on the page. You want to try to make sure your page is balanced. So if you have two columns like what we have on this page, you just want to give it basically enough so that the left column and the right column are going to be even. That's going to look the best. So I'm going to put in 4 here. I believe that's how many it was for it to be evened out. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's displaying photos. I think they're pretty good that way. All right, so I've got everything in there. I'm going to hit OK. Looks just like it did before. And there it is. All right, so that's adding an offer list to a page. Let's go ahead and check out our vacations page here so you can see what an offer highlight looks like, or in this case it's called a spotlight. So this is where it's just going to pick one offer from your offer group, and it'll give a little bit more detailed information right off the bat. And just the way it's organized is a little bit different as far as what it looks like. So you'll see if we go back to our home page here, it's got a little bit of detail on the left and then an image on the right, whereas an offer detail will have the image above and then more details underneath. So that's kind of how they're different. And again, these will only show one. Let's go ahead and edit it. So you'll see the little representation of it here. You can double click it to pull up the properties. So it has some of the similar properties. You can title it again. You can make it so it doesn't have a price or date if you wanted to. Now you can always actually put in a specific offer right there if you already have it. So if we wanted to use that same one, we could. But I'm going to go ahead and pull Hawaii again for it. All right, so there's what it's showing there. Now, if you were adding it instead of just changing it, you're going to use this little star icon for Insert Offer Highlight. So that pulls up the same properties where we can, again, choose Hawaii. And notice it's not asking you how many because it's just going to always show one from that offer group. All right, so let's go ahead and leave that at Hawaii. Now let's look into how to make an offer detail. So if we wanted a page for an offer detail, it doesn't have to have its own page, but it can. I'm going to go ahead and make an offer detail with its own page. So I'm going to go ahead and use that right here. I'm going to use that same ID that we've been using. Honestly, I don't even remember what it was for, so I'm just going to put in a title here for a great offer. All right, so let's look at what that looks like on the site. So I have my great offer over here. And that pulls you immediately to an offer detail page. So that can be really good if you're just trying to highlight a specific trip. I've seen a lot of people do it for when they have group trips and they wanted to show the offered details right away for it. So that's one reason you might want to use that. All right, so I think we went over most of the ways that you can use content within your site. Now let's talk about actually setting supplier preferences. So one way you can filter by supplier is by making your own target searches using the supplier filtering for that. Another way you can do it too is by going through your supplier preferences on the admin side. So let's take a look at what that's like. So again, I'm going to go into travel content. And there are 3 different links I can use for this. You'll see it in suppliers. If you already know the name of the supplier, you can go in suppliers by name. So if for some reason I knew right off the bat that I wanted Carnival to be highly preferred, I'm going to go ahead and select that. And it searches for it for me and finds it. So all of the suppliers on your site are going to be defaulted to included. If for some reason you see a supplier that's not on your site and you want to know if we have content for it, let us know. We can add them manually. And you can always check our list of suppliers that we get content to, content from as well. It's going to be actually on our help site. So if you ever want to check it, it's under Adjusting Supplier Preferences, and there's a link for it right here. So that shows all the land partners and cruise partners that we have that we get content for. So if there's any you see on this list that you don't find results for on your site, let us know if you want it. We can manually add it in. When we add an account, we do automatically filter suppliers by consortia. So it might be why you don't have it. But again, we can add it for you. Just let us know. All right. So with the suppliers that you do have included in your site, you can highly prefer them, or you can exclude it altogether. So if I selected highly preferred, that would mean that if someone were doing a search, or if I was using a target search that had standard search results, Carnival and the other suppliers that I have as highly preferred are going to be towards the top of that list. And this is all just about how it compares to your other suppliers. So if for some reason you rank all of your suppliers highly preferred, you're basically going to be neutralizing all of it. So make sure that you're only choosing, a handful of ones to be highly preferred. Prefer would be the next up on there, included, and then if you didn't want it to show at all, you could do excluded. And if you wanted to see just what you have currently, you can go to suppliers by type/preference. If you leave these 2 filters blank and just hit search suppliers, it'll just bring up all of them for you. So then you can go through and select the preference for those. So, we don't have content from every supplier out there. If there is a supplier you want to get content for, there's other ways you can do it. One thing that a lot of suppliers will do is they'll offer what's called co-branded or white labeled sites. So what you can do is you can go to that supplier and actually ask if they have something like that available and register with them. And then what they would do is they can give you a link or a URL that you can send to us, and we can go ahead and add it to your website as a link. So usually what we do is we just grab that supplier's logo and put it on one of the pages for you, the vacation or cruises pages, and then your customer would be able to click on that. It would go to the third-party website, so this would be a website that your supplier has for you. But that way you can still feature content from them through your website. All right, so that does it for today, and I'm going to go ahead and get to questions here. And then if you want to contact us by phone or email, support, the phone number is 503-626-7766, option 2, or you can email us support@passportsonlineinc.com.